that reverb at the end,
Wow.
the reverse reverb on that, just makes it so haunting. That was something that Tom was able to add for us at the very end of it.
That's nice.
Well, yeah,
I can definitely see that noir thing going on there, for sure.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the Hotel Cecil might have been a little bit of inspiration. Like if people have seen American Horror Stories Hotel, that was totally based off of that too, and its whole long history of just cursed, horrible things that happened. So yeah, a lot of like little LA and Hollywood film noir stuff. Being I'm originally from Southern California, it's kind of like, stuff I heard about when, I was like, well, mostly in middle school when I started getting into all that stuff. So,
as we all did.
And the stories that I've heard, and like I said before, my dad almost got signed on for a band, so there's all this other stuff that I heard too. So.
Possibly a little Laurel Canyon lore there too, I imagine.
Oh yeah, and of course there's another one in Orange County called Black Star Canyon.
Oh yes.
A lot of people think that's where the Hills Have Eyes might have gotten some inspiration from.
And also, if you make it out to the show tomorrow night at the Oddfellows Hall in Vallejo, you can hear those two songs being performed live. And the headliner, Our Graves, happens to be Ron Graves, who created all the music you hear from Mannequin Planet from the past to the present. We are going to get away from the Ron Graves formula on the next album and bring in Dave Rosano's originals and work with some other people.
Yep.
But Ron's super talented. Again, check out all of his bands from Noctronics to Horror Bound. Our Graves, he's the guitar player in Suicide Queen. He's the bass player in Visalis, a black metal band from San Jose.
Wow.
Ron is like the Les Claypool or Mike Patton of the Bay Area as far as like an industrial artist who wants to be known for 30 projects and not just one. So that's why he's not with Mannequin Planet currently.
Nice.
But big respect to Ron and all that he does, and you can see him tomorrow night perform.
And honestly, it's an honor to play with him tomorrow night because we're going to go ahead and share some of the things that we've done with his music. Like, look what I can do. See? Like the kid with the macaroni picture.
Right. Nice. So
also,
vocalizations remind me of Shirley from Garbage.
Oh, I love Garbage. Shirley, she's so awesome. And then not just her voice, but also her whole image. It's very, polished, very fashion, and still very rock and roll. Like the fine balance where you don't come off too grungy or too over the top runway. Like the perfect balance.
I have to mention, I've always, myself, I'm a sucker for female vocals. One of my favorite bands is the B-52s. And of course, I like, Pat Benatar, Stevie Nicks. Female vocals rock my world, and that's why Mannequin Planet has the male and the female vocalist. And if I had to pick one, I'd just go with the female vocalist because, I don't know, just something about female vocals are amazing. So.
Yeah, I think both have their merit, but what makes it interesting is to be able to go ahead and play around with both.
Yeah.
Both male and female, so like the sound doesn't just sound the same. Because I don't know about any other female artist or artist in general, but I know I kind of have a complex of wanting to make sure an album doesn't sound like the same exact song over and over again for the whole thing. Yeah, and
like some variety.
If it was just me on the whole track with no backgrounds, that's what. So I'm kind of glad to be able to write these things where I'm adding in male vocals and still incorporating that.
Yeah, in the past we had David, the lead singer, write for the girls, and now we have Sigyn here writing for the guys. So it's kind of cool to have that going on. And I have to say, while it's on my mind, if you want to see a great past version of the Mannequin Planet with the actors on stage taking over at Lennon Street Studios, Reality Check Live on YouTube, and Reality Check, the great Bay Area, the guys who assembled to go around and interview all kinds of people from wrestlers to rock stars to movie stars. They filmed all these great local bands and put it on Reality Check Live. So check it out. Type up that and Mannequin Planet. And it was quite a memory. And to win the Battle of the Bands on my birthday was even such an honor to be able to play the great legendary Hate Street Fair. So
There you
again,
go.
thank you, Hugh, for all the opportunities in the past to the present, brother.
Actually, the 4th of July show is going to be right next to my birthday, too.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
Yeah, so my birthday's actually on July 7th, so
Ah.
we're planning on the 4th.
very nice.
And my birthday's on
With
Monday.
Shark in the Water,
With Shark in the Water. It's gonna
a
be so
surf
amazing.
metal band. Dick Dale meets thrash metal.
Dick Dale meets thrash metal. Nice.
Shark in the Water. If you haven't seen
Shark in
him,
the water.
witness that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Witness
It's going to
that,
be
you
an
get a chance.
amazing show out in Livermore for 4th of July.
Wow.
So, if you're in the Tri-Valley and it's 4th of July, come out and see our show. It's going to be at Good Times Tavern, the local watering hole.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
really
And
cool spot.
Not far down the street is the back lounge with Phil Demo every year,
Yeah,
just
over,
to say
yeah, over in Dublin.
the Bone comes
Yeah.
out and supports Phil and his
Ah,
bar.
So it's going to be a huge bash in the
All
Tri-Valley.
kinds of famous people that roll through there, from members of Tesla to Y&T,
Nice.
and play covers with Phil Demo from Violence and Machine Head. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So you can do 2 events in one day
Two events in one
In-
day there on 4th of July.
in Dublin. Well, Dublin, Livermore,
Dublin,
they're
Livermore,
kind of
so
yeah.
It's the Tri-Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can
Easy
do
to get
events
to.
in one day.
There you go.
You could easily hit up both in one day in the Tri-Valley. The Tri-Valley's going to be rocking, which is awesome because the Tri-Valley has a history of, honestly, some really good musicians coming out of the area.
Yeah.
And people just forgot that.
Yeah,
The thrash guys came
Dublin
out of that
Death Patrol. Yeah,
area. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I actually met the lead singer of Dublin Death Patrol at a festival some years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, totally not related to music. It was actually because at the time he had a girlfriend that had lived in the Netherlands for a long time, and
Ah.
I'm Dutch Indonesian, so I was at the
Oh.
same festival, and that's where I met them. But yeah, awesome people, awesome
Yes.
folks. Like
Yes.
he just we were talking about music, and he just kept on buying me and my guy, beer after beer at this festival. It was awesome.
We also want to say, because we're Bay Area, we want to say, the great legendary bass player Willie Lang from Laz Rocket, who unfortunately died in a motorcycle accident. He's in Dublin Death Patrol. He was from Dublin. Steve Zetro Souza from Exodus, Chuck Billy, all the Dublin Tri-Valley guys. This is a big deal for the Bay Area. It's the whole reason why I moved here from Florida, is because of Bay Area music, period, and all of our thrash metal guys out there. So again, July 4th, Mannequin Planet with Shark in the Water. If you're in Hayward, downtown, Ska Dog Records, they let bands play in front of their store. That's going to be with
Free show.
Swamp Thing
on
and the
street.
Clarences,
Yeah.
free show near the Hayward Bistro, Turf Club and Funky Monkey right around the corner.
And of course, there's the good old-fashioned Stein Lounge directly across the street.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and then we're with the Eyesores and 2 other bands at the Quarter Note in Sunnyvale on July 26th.
Ah.
Back at Ska Dog Records August 12th.
To play with some of my friends from Santa Rosa and Petaluma. We're going to have Ape Shit Shenanigans and Band-Aid and Despise False Authority playing with us.
Wow.
But before we get too far ahead, let me say you really should come out to Vallejo tomorrow night, Oddfellows Hall.
Yes.
3 great bands, Our Graves, Mannequin Planet, PTYL versus Demon Cast. Another male-female vocal duo that you have to witness to get a taste of some great local artists that should be opening for Metallica at the stadium this weekend. But, with the whole industry bought and sold, unfortunately, a lot of local bands don't ever get that chance, but fucking really deserve it. Like I mentioned before, Gun and Doll Show should have been famous. We're such a Bay Area staple. Other bands in the past, we're talking, remember Sparrow's Point?
Of course.
Yeah, with SIP, and there's so many good and great bands through the time. Even Death Angel broke up and became Swarm.
I remember that.
We studied the scene, me and Hugh. Hugh with Reality Check TV covered the scene, me with Late Night Sinners, and we, the Bay Area is something to be proud of. Like I said, there's a reason why I moved from Florida to become a Bay Area music guy, is because I was a fan of Bay Area music before I came out here. So thank you again, Hugh. You're always on the cutting edge of local artists, and he is an artist himself, and he's done some music, this guy. Thank you again. I can't thank you enough, brother.
Well, thank you for keeping it alive and keeping a creative spark going. And it sounds like there's a lot of bands that you guys have been associated with that are in the same sort of genre, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's great. You know, it keeps evolving. It keeps evolving over time.
Oh, especially tomorrow night is going to be the perfect quintessential show for us, and also a lot of the whole entire dark wave and goth and industrial scene that we could go ahead and play with as well.
That's nice.
And then this is also the summer solstice weekend, so you realize you could come out and play with us on the summer solstice. Come out in the summer night air and enjoy our music.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of going along with the whole magic techno opera, and maybe a little bit of magic tomorrow night with the summer solstice, right?
You never know. You never know what can happen out there.
Magical jazz hands again.
Watch out for those magical jazz hands. It could get you in some trouble.
And I'm always going on about the show for Mannequin Planet, but the sound is very much like, if you like Orgy, Filter, Nine Inch Nails, Ministry, Rob Zombie, Static X, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, KMFDM, all these bands, Lords of Acid, you know, it takes electronic dance music and it mixes like heavy metal guitars, and it's a great live instrumentation over backing tracks, and it's an amazing fusion of something that is sometimes too heavy for the dance people and too dancey for the heavy metal people. So it's kind of like really skating that thin line of trying to appeal to both and then bring people together. And I'm proud of it. Industrial music forever, you know.
Which is actually really funny. I don't know if maybe it's just a Livermore thing, but when I was in high school in Livermore, there was a lot of folks that, if you liked, you know, industrial, like, you know, Nine Inch Nails and, you know, all those other bands, you also liked metal too. So for me, in my brain, it's always coincided, because the same group of people that liked metal, and then even, you know, Scandinavian death metal, also liked the industrial sound as well. Yeah, and I'm just kind of glad and happy that I kind of landed with this group where we get to go ahead and play around with that sound. It's really something that's up my alley. Yeah. I mean, I've had the opportunity to go ahead and be background vocals for some local metal bands. X Method, their song Abandoned, I'm actually in the music video. Just look for my glasses.
And then a cover band named Memorex, you know, you did some stuff there. And
yeah, so I've been doing stuff with that, but they're definitely mostly focused on just the metal. And, you know, that's what I love about being able landing with Mannequin Planet, is that we're doing a mixture of the sounds, the industrial, the metal. Because as much as I love metal, I also like the other stuff too, like V&V Nation, KMFDM. You know, honestly, if I ever met KMFDM, I'd probably be speechless. I'd be in a mute corner. I would not know how to react.
What other artists? You're a fan of Nightwish, right? And who else?
I love Nightwish and Tarja Turunen, and of course there's Within Temptation. Also like them too. Another artist, she's kind of more in that, honestly, Industry Vampires kind of sounds like one of her songs. Charlotte Dorn. She's also a really, really, really good artist. And then there's Lord of the Lost. I don't know, something about his kind of theatrical, deep voice with, again, a mixture of industrial and metal. It works. Yeah, so it's kind of the same genre. Nice. And I think Lord of the Lost, they've actually played Wacken a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You know,
if you're a metalhead, that's the festival.
And so, like, it's kind of amazing because besides just metal, there's also some other artists that are a blend of metal and industrial that have played Wacken that I absolutely love. Wow. I think it was the same thing with Mono Inc. too. They've also played Wacken. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask the big question. How did Rammstein